somewhat weird because you don't necessarily have any set. We do have draft. Is the draft machine unbroken? Do we get a new link? Okay, we have a new link, and not only do we have a crow ban, we also have a taka ban. We're getting somewhere. We're making progress. See, by this point, we might actually have a pick in the next like 7 years.
That Taka ban. Why do you think Taka is being banned so much nowadays?
Well, the problem with taka is that even if you are good at countering him, you still have to have like almost a coin flip on whether or not you're going to actually find him. Not having the consistent vision, and with flares being a lot less prevalent in 5v5 than 3v3, it's just so much harder to keep track of him. So teams just don't want to deal with him. Well, you don't know something else teams don't want to deal with. That's been the Kestrel. I've noticed a lot of people as of late starting to pick her up and just destroy with her.
Yeah,
She gets picked up by the Ultra All Stars.
yeah, Kestrel is a very strong pick in my opinion. Now in this patch for 5v5, just because of her ability to peel out and to evade the whole team essentially and stay in the back lines.
Yeah, no, and it's funny because she's also one of the better heroes in terms of repositioning. You really want the hero that can start to kind of protect herself. Kestrel's good at that. But you know what? You want to talk about protection? Arden's always their overprotective dad, and you've got Rona to pair up with that. So you've got a Gauntlet and a Into the Fray with Red Mist. So Rona is now super deadly, and I really like that 2-man combo picked up by Finesse Gods. So Lyra, the other option for Ultra All Stars. It seems like Ultra All Stars has gone for a bit of a poke composition, while Finesse Gods has a very tanky front line thus far.
Oh, Baptiste ban. I'm never heard of a Baptiste ban.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, Finesse Gods really aren't going to be picking that up themselves. And on top of that, it would have been helpful for Ultra All Stars because it gives them a little bit more poke, and it's defensive because you can use the Ordain to stop something. So I really like the way Finesse Gods has played the picks and bans phase. It's actually quite good.
Speaking in that general sense, then yes, it makes a lot of sense. What do you think their next pick would be optimal for?
Well, I wouldn't be super surprised if they tried to maybe throw off Ultra All Stars a little bit, or just go straight for more dive. And that Reza is always that pick. So you've got a Crystal Diver and a Weapon Diver. Now I think really if you're looking to round out your composition for the Finesse Gods, you maybe look to have some backline threat. Uh, Maybe just have like a Samuel in the mid lane, something of that sort. But for Ultra All Stars, you have to think really defensively here because Finesse Gods have so much dive right now that unless you really devote everything towards a heavy front line, you're not going to be able to counter them out with just pure dive. I'd be worried right now about things. Really like a Grumpjaw or any sort of CC. Grace would still be good for the Finesse Gods. So you have to have something that kind of counters that out. And there isn't much. Alpha kind of does that. She can sustain up there with Rona, but once Rona really gets going, it's a very hard matchup to go into for the Alpha. Obviously, having the reboot is good, but she's not going to have very many squishy targets to go on to.
Yeah, that alpha pick is very risky in this comp due to essentially 3 melee being able to just tank her ability to dive behind them, which there isn't very much to dive behind for.
So Vox has been picked up. I really hope that this is a CP Vox. I know that it hasn't been played much, but I think with as heavy as it seems that Finesse Gods is looking to go, yeah. Oh God, there's the fortress. This is looking really bad for the Ultra All Stars right now. I mean, uh, the one good thing that is on Ultra All Stars side right now is that they don't necessarily have any range against them. So I think you kind of try to abuse that. abuse the fact that finesse gods at most can have one real range carry. Start to go for things like slows. You can't go for anyone majorly squishy. I wouldn't be surprised to see Vox actually start in the mid lane, but you have to have something that has mobility. I'd love a Sky pick. Ben's right here. I would imagine. Honestly, I if I'm right now, if I'm Ultra All Stars, I might even be thinking about a Grub Draw ban just because of how much dive the Finesse gods have. They have just so many priority picks. It's actually insane.
It's a ferocious comp for finesse gods, and I think that Ultra All Stars will have a very, very hard time trying to react and essentially just play through with what the diving will be for Kestrel and Vox. At this point, I think that Alpha would have to distract them all while Vox and Kestrel deal damage just like
Well,
that.
the issue is that normally in a draft like this, when you see Arden and Rona come out, your ban in response almost has to be a fortress, or you must pick it up yourself. And the reason being is because uh, if you have a fortress, he can get that initial speed boost to come at you and really start that dive. The gauntlet, we all know what it can do. But having those together, you have the initiation of fortress or the initiation of Arden, and if somehow your team manages to peel, you have another initiation tool off of that. So it's going to be incredibly difficult right now for Ultra All Stars to really do anything. I think really the thing that I would focus on is really initial their initial picks. Not having a Baptiste, not having a Grace, a Catherine, things like that really do hurt them. Their last pick is going to be an Adagio, and it does somewhat abuse that range. But I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. Glacier picked up by the Finesse gods, so they've added a little bit more CC to their composition. And I really do have to say, I can't stress this enough. The Finesse gods really came out here with an incredibly strong composition.
That is true. For I believe Ultra All Stars will just be looking for a peel comp at this point. There's no way that they can really just initiate head on, so they're just going to have to hope to get away as soon as possible during fights.
Well, the issue for Ultra All Stars is that even though Finesse Gods, again, as I said, they're going to have multiple opportunities to engage both with Fortress and with Arden. But the problem is with Ultra All Stars is they don't have very many ways to peel initially. You don't have great initial peel, so having maybe some miraculous play to keep one or two people alive. Uh, while it may be great, you still have to deal with another dive on top of that. Maybe if you're looking at ways to stop a dive, what are there? A bulwark, uh, a, an active camo. That's it.
There is
Uh,
also the slow from Adagio and the stun that could possibly be played out during the game, but
there are, but you have to think that aversive judgment almost always will get the Adagio killed, especially in a composition like this, or against the composition like what Finesse is running. And and yes, the slow may be good, but you have so many ways to speed up. It's just insane. So Ultra All Stars has to have some of the best laning, uh, best positioning out of any team basically ever. And on top of that, they need to have a decent laning phase. Really, the keys for Ultra All Stars is really get out of the laning phase with a heavy lead.
that is true. I really think that the only way they could actually win this is with a heavy lead and good rotations in order to combat these heavy diving to their carries.
Well, if you think about it though, if for some reason Ultra All Stars is able to get a lead, assuming that any team fights are really won, they can start to wear down Finesse gods. How they would play things out is they would simply decide, okay, we have Kestrel, we have Adagio, and a Vox. If you dive on top of us, we can throw a Bulwark out and use our superior damage that we have because of our gold lead, and just really have decent poke. Because again, Finesse Gods doesn't have any range, sieging is going to be incredibly easy for Ultra All Stars, and really, in my eyes, is really the way that Ultra All Stars is able to win the game is by forcing Finesse Gods engagements to be ineffective, and that can really only happen through having a decent leaning phase. All right. By the way, can Twitch hear you? Okay, so we are still waiting on one person. Once we get that person in, then we will have our composition random out. He's being invited now, and we will get started as soon as possible. He's in, and now we're still waiting. And we're being told to wait again. All right, cool. Gotta make sure that everybody's good. And it seems like, for the most part, we should be. So, one of these days, we'll get started.
Well, someone has timed out. All right.
All right, so any sadness, any real comments that you want to say, go after. Because I know I do talk a lot.
I believe this Vox pick will be very strong against all this diving due to his very strong point to peel and deal damage. And judging from what I've seen throughout the battlefield, I really think that this Vox could really carry the whole team. That being said, though, that Fortress and Ronan Arden pick, those three alone are very vicious picks.
Yeah, no, they are. Most definitely. All right, so, oh, that sounds like fun.
Chat seems to be broken more than 50% of the time in VG. Did you see the April Fool's joke with Max Bob and the hero reveal?
Max Bob was cool.
That was a very quick April Fool's joke.
I still find it funny that Max Bob had a hero spotlight before Reza does.
Did you know there's a Twitter account just dedicated to Reza's spotlight? Every day they just update that. Definitely not. Definitely not.
Days until Reza spotlight.
Essentially. Last year's April Fool's joke was Corpus, I believe, right? Where
was it I don't think it was Corpus. Corpus seems like it was a lot longer ago.
a lot longer ago?
Yeah, I remember. Okay, we should be actually officially picking, and it looks like we're actually starting to get into games. So that is an absolute relief.
What do you think the strategy is for the whole initial game? I've seen very many strategies ranging from, invading the top jungle or invading the
even if you have the money, it doesn't necessarily mean that you've spent it. So if you can, I honestly, I want to see a couple early buys from Ultra All Stars. If they can get a couple of early buys in, and start to not only abuse the harass and the range advantage they're going to have in quite literally every lane, uh, and on top of that, uh, have an item lean, they can get turrets down faster, focus on swaps, focus on grouping up, and then making their plays.
Here we see Kestrel poking Arden.
Yeah, a little bit of poke. More focused around the scout cam game. 2G is yeah, he's kind of poking out the scout cam, but it's all very calculated because he knows he's going to have backup, and if anything really happens, he will have his teammates, of course, to back him up. So. Because if because these lane matchups could very well decide how or who goes against who, could essentially decide who wins that lane, if really anyone, and how the rest of the match plays out for Ultra All Stars.
Oh, that might be a first kill.
Yeah, that is definitely a first kill. So that is not a good start for the Ultra All Stars, and as I said, they needed to win early. Losing that pick kind of hurts.
I see that as going to be a Adagio top, and it all seems very normal to what could be in 5v5.
Oh, they've got they've got 2 invulnerables. They have 3 invulnerables. How do they work? How do they have the same name? This makes no sense.
I believe it's the capital I and L that could be one of them.
It's not though. It actually isn't.
It's just the same name.
Yeah, it's the exact same name. And you know what else is the exact same name? Invulnerable ganking onto Rikazoid with his friend Invulnerable. No, not much success out of it, and that's really what the ganks here need to be for Ultra All Stars, in order for them to just kind of, in order for them to get past this laning phase, is they need any gank attempts like that to just kind of peter out.
The CS difference is really playing out now, with Finesse Gods having a little bit more than the Ultra All Stars.
Yeah, and especially that first kill blood, that was pretty impactful. Now, I think this kind of, the farm stealing from Invulnerable is going to be more important, simply because it allows them to take away farm that was almost guaranteed to be Ultra Instincts. Or sorry, not Ultra Instinct, that's a Dragon Ball thing. Alright. Decent bulwark, but it might not save Riku. He's going to sit inside of an Imperial Sigil and heal right back up. So yeah, overall, it's just mostly a Fortress running around looking for ganks. Because he can do that.
There would be a jungle skirmish here.
Yeah, it's a weird kind of skirmish though, because Andrew knows that he can't really kill Dorji, and Dorji has some backup from his teammate. He needs a little bit more to kind of engage off of. Bulwark there, and this might actually force a fight. Invulnerables here to help kind of secure this fight. Who's going to get the weapon buff? That's going to be Vulnerable now. Andrew taking some shots from the Rona. Here comes Dorji. He's going back to this fight. Maybe not. He's thinking about it. And Romo most likely will get Violetta. There is at least 1 kill for the Wizard, taking off the head of Dorji. He's been a bad dog. Now Andrew focusing onto Invulnerable. There's some mortal wounds. He's most likely going to be forced to reboot. Imperial Sigil is just perfect. There's the Prime Directive landing quite perfectly. Now here's some help from 2G. He's going to land the Vanguard onto Invulnerable, hoping to get to stop the reboot. It's not going to happen now. Invulnerable, 1 more shot away. 1 more anything. Just a tap. Someone kill him, please. Andrew, he's going to be able to get... There you go. There's the jump. And not enough. Now 2G's, he went in to save his He went in to save his Rona, but that's not going to be good enough. He's going to be going down. And wait, one more. There you go. That's going to be 2 kills, or excuse me, 2 kills for the Wizard and 1 for Andrew G. And on the top side, exactly what you want to see. Dredge managed to get a kill onto Invulnerable, but at the very least, he trades himself out. So 4-2 now for Ultra All Stars. That was a decent way to start turning things around, but on the kind of downside for them, Finesse Gods still have a lead.
This range is working out for them, surprising as it is, in ganks.
Well, they're a bit over aggressive though. Dorji kind of put himself way too far in the enemy jungle, and he kept harassing. That's what it took for them to win that fight finally, and it basically just one person overcommit and the other overcommit with him.
That Reza's damage is becoming very deadly. Half-healthing Vox as it is initially, just with A-B combo.
Yeah, that's quite deadly. The other thing that's quite deadly as well, the Glaive, he's found to free Andrew, and Andrew Weir will most likely be able to reboot, and he will, but I don't think he's going to survive much past that. Now Violet is in trouble. He's got 3 people following. Rikuzoid, that's decent. He can force a disengage, but Finesse Gods found yet another kill for free. It's not fun. So the game goes on, and ooh, okay. Yeah, the double kill there. And Vulnerable and Dorji finding yet another kill on the top lane. Dread is really, of course, dreading that lane matchup. He has no help. He's kind of on an island. And Vulnerable's definitely winning this top lane, as it actually probably will go down here. And boom, first turn of the game.
Wow. Very quick from what I've seen from my experience.
Yeah, well, I mean, it could be worse. Last game, the last game that I cast literally lasted for 9 minutes and 30 seconds. And
wow.
And it was almost a perfect game, except the opponents got like a kill in the last like half second. Well, at least here, at the very, very least, Run was caught. Invulnerable showed that he was not so invulnerable, went down, and so at the very least, very least, Ultra All Stars is ahead in kills. And you know what? That's the thing that really matters. At least that's what my solo queue teammates say. So 3 members here for Finesse Gods. Towards the bottom lane, they're heading down, seeing what they can do. They know the turret got taken down, so you know what, they're going to try and avenge that turret. They're going to find at least one Glaive manages to find the kill on top of Rikazoid. Gauntlet goes down, stuns up. That was just perfect. Now the problem is Violetta, he's in trouble too. Bulwark goes down. Now this is a decent position here for Finesse Gods. They can continue to push on the bottom side. Holy crap, Mortal Wounds are great. Now Violet is the only one down here. And in the mid lane, they found a turret and 2 kills. So this is just not the day right now for Ultra All-Stars, as Finesse Gods look to turn their sights onto the enemy jungle.
That was a perfect play. Just that stun on Alpha right out of reboot. That really just locked it in.
Yeah, it really did. So, Finesse Gods, they get to wait around here for a little bit, but not for too long. Take down literally every single tier 1 turret 9 minutes in, so that's a pretty decent pace. Now they get to come back, they get to buy. They're up 6k gold, which is decent. At least decent in, of course, in about 10 minutes. 1 shot, 1 kill, barely missing.
It's very hard to land these 1 shot 1 kills nowadays. with a large map and having to estimate how.
Oh, that was a great afterburn. It might actually be able to take down Riku, and down he goes. Now invulnerable, he takes one more shot, he goes down. Prime directive just barely missing. Yeah, Ultra All-Stars can't do much to return on much damage. Andrew, what was that? What? Oh, you misclicked. That's the go time. There's the wolves being popped. Now everyone going onto the enemy team. There's the aversive judgment that gets stunned out with the afterburn. And you know what? Violet is out of there. He knows he can't help his team, and just more and more kills. There's one taken down. At least there's a return kill. So now Kestrel gets one. Impressive. They say for invulnerable. There's another kill, and it's still impressive. Invulnerable and invulnerable are both impressive. This mid lane turret is looking to be taken down quite quickly, as invulnerable comes to help 2Gs take it down. Down it goes, and just more destruction down the mid lane.
That misclick was a very essential part of winning that whole team fight. Probably wouldn't have been started without that whole.
Yeah, I gotta feel bad for Andrew. That was just such a terrible misclick.
I feel the buttons are much smaller in the 5v5. I find myself pressing the heal button a lot when in very just average times.
Oh god. So that's one of those things where it's like you're trying to look into something. Well, oh god, actually 2Gs, he might be caught out. He's gonna get poked a little bit. In turn, prime directive, there it is. They got a catch. Can they finish him off? He's getting out of this. No way.
Wow.
No. Oh.
Impressive escaping.
Yeah, impressive escaping, but also disappointing here for Ultra All-Stars. So now it's going to be tough because here comes the re-engage from Finesse Gods. They got Dorji. Invulnerables found himself a free Adagio. Now they get to go for the mid lane. Oh, Dorji, he's found Rikuzard. And if Rikuzard goes down, there goes the main source of damage. Holy crap, look at those numbers! That was ridiculous. This is a little bit fair. I think we can officially call hacks on the Finesse Gods to start to push down the mid lane yet again. Can we call this deja vu? So yeah, turret goes down. Armory about to follow suit, and potentially the Vein Crystal. Andrew got caught with a great afterburn. I don't think he's even going to get a chance to reboot. There was Aversive Judgment, but it's not going to matter because the Finesse Gods have just put down so much damage. There's not much that they can do. Now they just got to focus down this Vein Crystal. Now there is a potential here for this to be turned around. Depends on how Rikuzoid plays things. He's trying to kite around. He could take down Invulnerable, but the Vein Crystal is just too low. I think that's going to be it. And in less than 13 minutes, the Finesse Gods have finished it out. They finished this game, and they've won over the Ultra All-Stars 17-6. Pretty good showing.